The Chicago Bears get in on the defensive line market as they sign Demarcus Walker to finish off their day one of free agency. What kind of impact is he going to bring to the team? How is he going to be able to go out there and get to the quarterback? We'll talk about all that and more in today's episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily, and also answer the question, did the Chicago Bears get better after day one of free agency? Let's go. Now, if you are new to the channel, please like the video. Please subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. It's the only channel talking Bears, how Bears fans talk. So make sure that you get in tune with us, man. So first things first, right? Bears finish off day one of free agency. This came in probably about 9:30 last night. Signing Demarcus Walker, a very, very interesting player, defensive end from the Tennessee Titans. Another solid signing for the Chicago Bears here, right? Walker coming in on what is essentially a 2-year deal, as reported by Mike Garafolo. Garafolo, I believe is how you say his name. I heard Garofalo early on. He must be switching names up out here. It's been a tough day for names out here, you know what I mean? But Mike Garafolo reporting that it's basically a 2-year deal worth $14 million. It is a 3-year deal in total, worth $7 million annually, as reported by his agent. So probably a 2-year deal with a team option on that 3rd year there. And a nice player, right? 28 years old for Walker. He's coming off his best year in sacks. He had 7 sacks in total, 33 total tackles, 23 solo tackles, 10 tackles for loss, 16 quarterback hits in 17 games. And here's the thing that I love about that, right? You're getting a guy at really good value who's coming in and does something the Chicago Bears were terrible at last year: getting to the quarterback, forcing pressure, right? And his best years, right? His numbers up completely. When you look at basically what he did in last season, he did that in the 2 prior seasons put together. So good to see something click for him out in Tennessee. But now, how does he affect the Bears? What does he bring to the Chicago Bears team? I think that's the real question. And here's the thing: when you look at what Demarcus Walker brings to me, right now, of course, with the team that we have, he's a starter on this team. Do I think that he's going to meet those career highs again? I hope he does, right? But the Bears defensive line is nowhere near what the Tennessee Titans defensive line was. And hopefully, right, this is a step in improving that. So I look at this situation where he's coming in now and probably with these high expectations because of the numbers he's bringing in. But I think that at a minimum, he's a really, really solid rotational piece for you. I think he's a guy that could be move around on that defensive line a little bit as well, just forcing a little bit of havoc from a couple of different positions. But also at the same time, at most, I think he's a solid starter for you. And that's what you wanted to go out there and, right? Like, we wanted the big names. We missed out on a lot of the big names. Hargraves was going kind of early on, right? Jones was going very early on. And so to me, right, like, you didn't want to just, not to say you wanted to spend money on anything. You wanted to still spend money on quality with a little bit of an upside, right? He's coming off, like I said, his best career years, but also something that you can build around, and you don't have to be 110% tied to being in your starting lineup in this situation that you're in now, right? You don't want to overthrow money at somebody. I feel like this is a really good deal for Demarcus Walker. I feel like he's going to be able to come in and make an impact very quickly on this defensive line. Right now, like I said, I do think he's a starter on this team, and I think this is another good signing and a litany of good signings for Ryan Poles in free agency. We'll break that down kind of in a minute. Let me know how you guys feel just initially on the signing of Demarcus Walker. What do you think he's going to bring to the Bears? The one thing, like I said, that I focus in on the most: pressure. Can you continue to bring pressure? I like getting guys in here who can bring that pressure. I like getting guys in here, not right. Like, you want to have the run stoppers and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, Justin Fields can put up 50 points a game. It doesn't matter if the other team scores 51, and it is impossible to slow teams down if you are not putting pressure on the quarterback. Need to see more of that. Demarcus Walker is absolutely a step in the right direction. Let me know how you guys feel about the signing of Demarcus Walker in the comments below, man. At least give me a one-word reaction, right? Give me a wow, or a oh my God, or a Demarcus Walker. Okay, you know what I mean? Just give me something down there, man. Also, if you haven't done so, man, I need y'all to do me a favor because y'all be playing games out here.
Come on. Push the button. Come on.
You gotta hit it.
Push the button.
You're not hitting the like button yet? Come on.
Yeah, come on. Push the button.
You heard Sue Young.
Heard what she said.
You heard what she said. Don't make me and Chris Tucker tell you again. Hit the like button, man. Appreciate y'all for showing love. Now for the big question, right? With all the moves made yesterday, did the Chicago Bears improve? And I'm not just talking about this season. I'm talking about in the long run. Did the Chicago Bears get better? And recapping the moves that the Chicago Bears made yesterday, they did sign former Eagles linebacker TJ Edwards. That was the move that kicked everything off in free agency for the Bears. Got him for a nice value contract. Then they went out and they got Tremaine Edmonds. Big surprise to all of us, right? Like we were like, oh snap. Tremaine Edmonds got 76 million with 50 million guaranteed. Then you got Nate Davis as well. Nice linebacker, basically about 10 million a year over a 3-year deal. And of course, Demarcus Walker finishing off the day. And so, one, right, like we could sit here and grade the moves, break down everything these guys did. We'll drop videos that we did from the live stream, basically, talking about kind of how we feel about each one of these signings, each one of these players, the Bears, you know, kind of moving forward and stuff like that. But here's the thing at the end of the day. When I look at the moves that Ryan Poles made, when I look at how he's positioned this team, right, a lot of these contracts very front loaded. So they have those de-escalators that year over year, right, that contract becomes a little bit less of a hit on the cap. I am thrilled with what we got in day one of free agency, right? Tremaine Edmonds, again, is the one contract that I look at and I say, man, I really have to convince myself that I like the money that we paid him, but I also understand that you have to overpay in free agency. I also understand that when he's on the field, he's going to be a dog for the Chicago Bears, right? And so I'm looking at value that you have based on how that contract is going to break out and how that's going to affect this team long term. I think you also have to look at the fact that these are guys that are going to be impact players on your team. TJ Edwards probably going to be your starting middle linebacker. I would think that Tremaine Edmonds will be your will linebacker because, again, that's your most important piece in this entire deal, right? And then you got Jack Sanborn standing there at the Sam. Okay. I think that you basically solidified your linebacking crew. Hopefully you're able to get some depth in there. But this offseason to me is all about checking off spots that you don't have to worry about when you're heading into the draft. I think you did that there by going out and getting Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards, because now you know who your starting linebacker crew is. Now we know what Flus can come in and work with day one, play one, right? Hopefully we're able to get some guy. I would love to get a Nick Morrow back. I don't know if that's going to happen. I didn't see if he signed yesterday, but I think he's still available. I would love to get a Nick Morrow back. I don't know if we're going to end up getting him back. But also, right, like you also went into yesterday hoping to find some offensive line help. Now, the offensive line help we were hoping for was tackle, right? We were hoping for the left tackle position. But I think that there is a belief, at least in what I'm seeing, is that they have a real high feeling about Braxton Jones. I mean, and listen, at no point last season did Ryan Poles give us any indication that he didn't have a high feeling in Braxton Jones. And maybe we just need to start taking this man at his word, right? Because he's basically said, I'm going to do this. And then he follows through and he does it. I believe that they have a real high belief in Braxton Jones and they wanted to get him some veteran help at that inside guard position, right? So I think that you'll probably see Nate Davis start at that left guard position. I think that you get him a little bit of help to the inside. You allow him to use his athleticism and his ability to grow on that left tackle spot. I wouldn't probably have done that, right? Like, I don't know if I saw enough to just say Braxton Jones should absolutely be the starter. He was unquestionably, the best player. I mean, I think he was arguably our best offensive lineman outside of Tevin Jenkins, but I wouldn't have gone with him as your starter, right? I'd have kicked him probably in to guard and gone out and got a legit left tackle. But there has to be a belief there that Braxton Jones is that guy. And so putting Nate Davis on the inside just to give him a little bit of help that has been, and here's the two things about Nate Davis, right? That has not only been a very good impact player, but has also been a player that's going to be on the field, play in and play out. The biggest problem that you had last year with Cody Whitehair is not that Cody Whitehair can't play left guard. It's that Cody Whitehair had trouble staying on the field next to Braxton Jones. So then you end up swapping in, right? You end up putting Borum over there. You end up putting, right, like you're moving guys around left and right. He's not able to build up a rapport with anybody. You don't have that 5 guys that's on a consistent unit, right? So I think that that's the one thing that you're also looking at there with Nate Davis, that he's been a pinnacle of consistency. He's been able to stand in there and just make plays. So I like that signing as well. And I think the Demarcus Walker signing, like I said, right, solid veteran. And here's the thing. Most of your team is made up of guys like Demarcus Walker. You're solid veterans. You're guys that can just come in, make plays, day one, play one. Okay, we're in the building. Hey, I'm just here. I have to get this my job is to get to the quarterback in this set, in this defensive set, on this defensive play. I think that it's good to see that the Bears were able to find that here in this free agency with a couple of guys there, right? Like, and that's kind of how I view Nate Davis, kind of how I view TJ Edwards a little bit as well, and Demarcus Walker. And the best part is, right, you're not breaking the bank. The Bears still have $40 million, maybe about $41, $42 million to go out there and spend. They still have an opportunity, if they want to go out there and sign other free agents in day 2, in day 3, right? Again, none of these guys are signing till Wednesday, but the fact that we're here, right? And, right, like, even if you're still in on Monty, I don't know, right? Like, Monty could be a $8 million a year guy, or a 6 to 8 to 10. I've seen as far as 12 million. I'm not paying Monty 12 million, but a $6 to $8 million guy, right? Like, do you want David Montgomery back? You're still leaving yourself open for that. The one thing that I love about how the Chicago Bears are doing this, right, is that we're setting ourselves up now. Is the Bears, and this is how I want to break this down. And I want y'all to comment this with me as well. Now, next year, year 3. How are the Chicago Bears set up? I look at the now, and I'm bringing everything into account with this, right? When we're talking about being better after free agency, but the fact that we made the trade before free agency has to play into this as well. In the now, are the Chicago Bears a better team than they were yesterday? Marginally, to me, right? Like, to me, I think that you were a 3-win team. Maybe this takes you from a 3-win team to a 6-win team, right? Like, I love the addition of Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards. That's gonna mess me up the entire time, bro. Like, we got to come up with a name for. Hey, Edmonds, Edwards. Do we got Ed Nettie on our defensive line? Or on our defense? Is our defense Ed Nettie? Edmonds, Edwards, and Eddie Jackson? We got Ed Nettie, bro. Let's go. Let's go. I don't know why that just hit me. Let's go. We got Ed Nettie on the defense, or on this Bears defense. We about to dominate. That's me being a kid. Don't worry about that. But at the end of the day, right, like, in the now, the Chicago Bears, to me, there's not this vast gap, right? Like, I don't look at free agency yesterday and say, oh my God, we're a 12-win team all of a sudden. But what I do look at it is we finally have veterans in the building that I know can be consistent, that I know can come out there and make plays, that I know can come out there and be available, and are going to be guys that, right, like Tremaine Edmonds flies around the field in coverage, right? So that makes other guys' lives easier. We got Demarcus Walker, who's able to get pressure. That makes your DB's life easier. That makes your defensive, that makes your linebackers' lives easier, especially when they're in coverage, because it doesn't matter how good you are in coverage. Once you get to 4 or 5 seconds, it's like, okay, he's gone. You know what I mean? So TJ Edwards in the middle, right? Like Jack Sanborn at your Sam, right? To me, like, okay, now you've got a position completely solidified in the starting lineup. So now I'm looking at this and I'm saying, all right, well, yeah, I feel like that is a really good pickup. I feel like that was a really good move. I feel like, okay, we've got solid pieces in here, and it's not just guys that have been in the league for 20 minutes and trying to figure their game out, right? So I feel like in that, now you are a better team for sure. You also have to bring it to the fact that you brought in DJ Moore, again, pre-free agency move, right? But when you look at your offense, you got Justin, a little bit of protection, a little bit more protection with Nate Jones, Nate Davis, and you're pairing that with what you kind of already have. I mean, it's still a up in the air offensive line, right? But now Justin Fields has guys that he can, at least even if he's moving around and creating space, he's getting the ball to, and hopefully they're able to come away with catches. You know, DJ Moore is going to draw some more attention. Does that open up things for Darnell Mooney? What does that do for Chase Claypool? How does Cole Kmet get affected by this, right? So there's a ton of things that also play into that as well. But I feel like in the now, the Chicago Bears are a better team marginally. In the future, I think absolutely. Now, this all depends on, or when you're looking at next year, I think this all depends on how well you hit on these picks. But when you look at everything that the Bears have right now at their disposal, even hitting on these picks on your first, second, and third round in this year, you can get impact players. Now you look at next year, those guys will have a year of development. You still have DJ Moore. You still have all these guys that you just signed. And you have Carolina's pick. And history would tell you that when Carolina traded up, right, teams that trade up for quarterbacks usually don't do well at least the next season. So Carolina probably is still going to be a pretty bad football team. Now, the tough part about Carolina is they're in a terrible division, but they're probably going to be pretty bad when you look at next season. They're probably going to be pretty bad. So now you're talking about, again, having a high draft pick. Even if you improve to a 8-9 win team, you still have a draft pick that is probably going to be top 5, top 8-ish in this NFL draft, that you can go out there and get another impact player heading into next year. Oh, by the way, you can do it again the following year. So to me, right, like when I look at this year, year 2, did the Bears improve? That's yet to be seen, but you're setting yourself up to improve. Year 3, you should have 2 years of draft picks that are much better. And again, on top of that, setting yourself up to have high draft capital. So when I look at how Ryan Poles has broken this entire thing down, I love the fact that I look at these contracts and I say, this is a great contract for now, but also moving forward, it opens things up in case I need to pay Justin Fields, in case I need to pay impact players on this team, right? We got to re-up on DJ Moore. We've got to re-up on Chase Claypool, re-up on Darnell, whatever that is, right? Okay, now how do we keep moving forward? Oh, maybe we've got another impact wide receiver in this draft. Do we go get JSN? Do we get Marvin Harrison next year because we got another high draft pick, right? Like setting yourself up not only for the now, but for the future. Ryan Poles has done an excellent job in how he has positioned this Bears team, and he has not strangled us. We are not strapped, right? Remember, when we moved up for Mitch, that was it. It was like, Mitch, gotta work. We have no draft capital. We have no picks moving forward. Mitch gotta work. He didn't work. What was your next option? Nothing. You had to wait till you had a pick again. You had no next option. There is nothing but next options in this situation now. So I love what I'm seeing from Ryan Poles. I love how he has positioned this entire thing. I think that he has put the Bears in an excellent position moving forward. And I do believe that the Chicago Bears did get better in this first day of free agency. I'm sure there'll be more to come, so we'll be breaking all that down and more on this channel as well. As always, man, it's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Hey, to continue watching our Chicago Bears content, click the links on the screen or check the links in the description below. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Peace.